All right, as we are talking about this GOP platform, how they've disarmed the Second Amendment, how they've taken away so many protections for life, but it doesn't end there. Another major issue that is greatly lacking is support for Israel. Especially is that important now that our closest ally in the Middle East wages a war for its very existence. Well, joining me now to discuss this is Rabbi Pesach Wolicki. He's the Executive Director of Israel 365 Action. Rabbi Wolicki, thank you so much for joining us on Washington Watch. Good to have you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
All right, so the 2024 GOP platform includes just a single line regarding support for Israel. Your reaction to this?
Yeah, listening to Lewis, it's the same story on the Israel side. This platform has one line that says, we will stand with Israel and seek peace in the Middle East. And if you compare it to the old platform included within it, of course, the old platform was written in 2016 and re-adopted in 2020. It spoke openly about limiting the influence of Iran, of pulling out of the Iran deal, of sanctioning Iran, which of course Trump did. Those sanctions led to an almost bankrupt Iranian regime and Hamas and Hezbollah not being funded. And that actually brought peace to the Middle East. The Abraham Accords actually brought peace to the Middle East. The destruction of ISIS, which is also mentioned in that platform, the will to destroy the enemies and to support Israel as an ally. And most notably, in the old platform, it specifically said that they will pursue a policy where there is no daylight. That's the expression used, no daylight between the U.S. and Israel. And what that means is that Israel would be treated as an actual ally, trusting your ally and seeking the best interests of your friends while punishing your enemies. And to just have this mealy-mouthed, vague term, we will stand with Israel. Look, Democrats also say, that they stand with Israel. Joe Biden says he stands with Israel, even as he withholds weapons and pressures Israel to take steps that will cause it to lose the war. What I'm hearing and what I'm worried about is that the Trump administration has some fantasy that they're going to lure in Muslim voters in America who maybe aren't so happy with the Democrats, as we're starting to hear, mumblings of, and that they're trying to be really vague about this and say that they'll stand with Israel and seek peace in the Middle East. And when people talk about seeking peace in the Middle East, and that phrase didn't appear in the old platform, it sounds like a nice thing. We all want peace. And of course, as I just said, Trump's policies of strength, of punishing the enemies, of knocking off Soleimani, wiping out ISIS, sanctioning Iran, moving the embassy to Jerusalem, supporting your friends and weakening your enemies, that's what actually brings peace. But just to say we're going to seek peace, unfortunately, that's been a buzzword over the last few decades for negotiations and capitulation and appeasement. And it's very worrisome. It looks like they're leaving all their options open. And just like what's been said about gun control and about life, it looks like they're trying to be all things to all people and possibly stepping away from full support for Israel.
Yeah, it's very, very disturbing. And many of these people, when they talk about peace in the region, they're talking as a two-state solution, which absolutely will never provide peace as well. What are you hearing, Rabbi, from other American Jews who perhaps want to support the GOP and former President Trump, but now with this platform, it's let them down. What are you hearing?
Look, it's still an absolute necessity that we support President Trump. We need him back in office. As far as I'm concerned, and I have two sons and a son-in-law who've spent most of their time fighting in Gaza since October 7th. And as you said, I lead Israel 365 Action, and Israel 365 Action really birthed the Keep God's Land Coalition that Family Research Council has been so cooperative with, defending Israel. And we know that we need Donald Trump to win this election because the Democrats are really in bed with our enemies. So Jews who want to support Donald Trump are still supporting Donald Trump. But that doesn't mean that we're worried. Let's remember that Donald Trump projected, but his deal of the century essentially was leading to a two-state solution as well. So it's not like we're out of the woods, even if we go back to the old Trump policies. So while we're disappointed, I think this is true. Look, I'm not a Christian, so I can't speak for Christians, but I think that even with our disappointments of the platform, it's not like we have another party that's going to be better that we need to vote for. We still have to get behind President Trump and get him elected. But it's just worrisome in terms of what direction the policies are going to take.
Yeah, I would say that there was, just in hearing you talk there was a statement in there. I think it was more on the domestic level and the riots in the schools, the universities, but it did say that they were going to deport pro-Hamas radicals and make our college campuses safe and patriotic again. So that certainly leads a little bit in the right direction as well. Last question, and we've only got about a minute left. We have the Democratic Party platform coming up later this summer. What are you expecting there?
What am I expecting there on Israel?
As it relates to Israel, yeah.
I'm expecting an overt call for a two-state solution that the vast majority of Israelis are opposed to. Even after October 7th, even Israelis who used to be in favor of a two-state solution are opposed to it. Upwards of 75 to 80% of Jewish Israelis are dead set against it right now. It's a frustration to the Biden administration, but I fully expect, considering their statements about a two-state solution, that they will absolutely call for it. They're going to try they're probably going to mention a Palestinian state. Let's remember, the Biden administration has Palestinian activists, people like Maher Bitar, who's one of the senior advisors on national security and intelligence to the president, is a Palestinian activist in their administration. Yeah, I expect it to be a very anti-Israel platform. And frankly, I have to tell you,
our time is running out. I've got to leave. All right, thank you so much, Rabbi.